Hello friends. Now let us take up training session 1 in C Feel Good Web Series. As I told you already, C is the oldest as well as evergreen language. If you want to learn and master programming, C provides you natural way of learning. You cannot get that approach in other languages. That's why if you want to learn in an organic manner, C is the best choice. Okay. In the training session, actually, I'm going to explain 5 core programming concepts. Actually, we are entering into programming domain. Before that, before entering into programming domain, we must know about programming thoroughly. Otherwise, it will be like a blind person's walk. But if I have to explain so many basics are there, obviously it feel boring. That's why I have chosen only 5 concepts, 5 core concepts, and that too I am going to explain you from a real life angle. Then you enjoy it in no time. With a one-time watch, you can own it. So the 5 concepts first understand. Thereafter, move to the second training session. Then you start doing programs. Okay. In the training session 1, the first concept is understanding computer program practically. Actually, what we do for learning programming, what we have to do? We have to write a computer program. That's why first we have to learn what is computer program thoroughly. Technically, I have to explain all that just in a matter of a minute. By that, you don't get any benefit out of my explanation. That's why I am going to explain what is computer program detailedly from real life angle. That's why with it may be 10 hours, 10 minutes video by single watch, one time watch, you can understand that, and you will be in a position to explain to others. That point you have to understand. The second one is understanding function oriented programming paradigm. Function oriented programming paradigm. Actually, paradigm, this word is new to you. Simply seeing dictionary, you get meaning, but it does not help you. That point you have to understand. So, certain terms and all that you have to practically understand. Paradigm means how you can understand an implementation model. An implementation model. In order to achieve different tasks in our real life, different approaches, different implementation models we use. That is called paradigm. In programming also, in order to achieve a programming task, we can implement different paradigms. Actually, the most popular are procedural paradigm, function oriented programming paradigm, simply called as FOP paradigm. Third one is WOO paradigm, is the advanced and latest one, object oriented programming paradigm. Procedural paradigm means this is all statements are written like this. In your mathematics, how you write statements, here also the statements are written in a sequential order, and the task is performed. In the function oriented programming paradigm, actually it is a program is a collection of functions. How the task is performed by collective contribution of all these functions, your program task is performed. A simple way. Actually, if you have to understand that and all that, in real life, many tasks you get performed. Suppose you are constructing a house. For that, you engage several specialists like architect, engineer, mason, transporter, plumber, interior decorator, painter, etc. and all that. How your house is constructed means by collective contribution of all these specialists, your house is constructed. Whatever you call specialist in your real life, that is painter, carpenter, driver, teacher, auditor, etc. and all that, in programming those are called functions. So by collective contribution of functions, all functions, a program task is performed. That is the model. Okay, so in function oriented programming, a program is developed as composition of functions. The next one is object oriented programming paradigm. Object oriented programming is advanced to this. Function oriented programming paradigm is subset of object oriented programming paradigm. Here, in this paradigm, one object interact with other object to get the result. Suppose, you take a simple example. I am an object. You are an object. we are interacting now. By that, we are getting a result. So this is the model. However, this is advanced. I am not going to explain. And one more thing, C is a true function-oriented programming paradigm. That's why we need not learn object-oriented programming. So here, understanding FOP paradigm practically from real life. Technically, if you have to understand, a lot of time is required. Just within 10-15 minutes, I am going to explain to you in order to enable you to own the concept. That point you have to understand. Third one, IPO. IPO activities. Actually, any system in real life you take, it performs mainly three activities. Simple example I give you. This is your neighboring flour mill. Here you put some grain like rice, wheat and all that. Inside process and flour is released from here. This is called input. Input activity it perform. Inside what is done, grinding is done. So this is called process. This is output. IPO. So any system you take, even your brain is a subsystem in your body. Brain, if feed a question, December 1st is Wednesday. What is day on January 1st? They feed a question, your brain processes it according to a logic and gives answer. So IPO, every program performs three core operations. IPO. In the third concept, I am going to explain you practically like this only from real life. Fourth one, understanding data types and variables. This is the first and foremost important concept in for writing any program. But unfortunately, 90+% of students, college students, without knowing the real meaning of data types and variables, they use it from the first program itself. That is most unfortunate. It is not so complicated concept, but they don't have an opportunity to learn about that. Here, from real life angle, I explain what are the data types and what are the variables. The very first and foremost important concept for writing any program, regardless of the language. That point you have to understand. The fifth one is basic operations performed by a program. Actually, already I told you, a program performs three activities: IPO, input, process, and output. Technically, if you consider them, those are five operations. Technically, these can be divided into five operations. So, those five operations, basic operations of a program, I explained to you. And here, one thing you must remember: regardless of the programming language, you write statements. Statements means one instruction. Every statement performs one of these five operations. That you have to understand. So, one thing you remember: these five concepts are very, very core concepts, and you must understand them. And remaining many concepts are the contextually I explain to you. I never create any boring to you in learning concepts. Before explaining these five core concepts, programming concepts, I would like to explain four important points which you must focus to evolve as a professional programmer. Actually, students' habits are different. They are just simply getting result, that is okay for them. But professional habits are different. So for that you need not bear any big burden or responsibility. Just to understand these 4 points and always keep in mind and grasp the spirit of the 4 points and implement in your programming. Automatically you will be evolved as a professional. This is my assurance. The first one is computer common sense. Actually, from the beginning I am telling you, in order to evolve as a programmer, you must have 3 C's: computer, commitment and common sense. Common sense is very core. I am not talking about intelligence. I am not intelligent at all, but I have ample common sense. What is common sense? Common sense is uncommon among the people, but you should know. What is common sense? Common sense means you should know your environment. Suppose if you go to a bank, just simple drawing money and not coming, what is happening in a bank? If you go to office, what is happening in a office? And you go several places, what is happening? Just to observe that. For that you need not wait and study. Automatically what is going on around you, you should understand that automatically your common sense is improved. Suppose one building is being constructed, how it is done? Why they are taking so much time for constructing foundation and ground floor, so much time, and super stories just like that, how they are constructing, like that, and all that observation, natural observation of your environment enriches your common sense. So by that you can take sound judgments in every situation, because many situations you have to take a judgment, then it should be the sound one, provided you have common sense. But there is as far as programming is concerned, one great saying is there in English. That is, one unit of learning requires 10 units of common sense to implement that. One unit of learning requires 10 units of common sense to apply that. Actually, this is application oriented study. So, learning is easy, but implementation is difficult. For that, lot of common sense is required. That always you remember that. How to acquire common sense means I cannot give you answer, but in order to improve your common sense, from my side, contextually, I provide everything. Only one thing I request you, you follow the tips whatever I am giving, and understand, take their spirit and implement them. Okay. Second one is owning concepts. Many people use that without knowing the correct meaning. Owning concepts means it should be like your experience. It should be registered in your brain. Actually, I ask you one question: what you did yesterday? Then, without referring anything, you are able to tell A, B, C, D, E, F, and all that sequentially you are able to tell. For that, no recalling or no reference and all that. Automatically you are able to do fluently, because it is registered in your brain. In the same way, concepts also can be made like that. By that you get n number of benefits. I will explain little later. For that purpose, for owning concepts, a simple tip I give you, you follow that. Suppose in this training session one, first concept is understanding computer program practically. You watch that 10 to 15 minutes lecture, you watch that thoroughly. Immediately after that, don't move to the second one. Question yourself, can I explain this concept to anybody? Anybody means you need not explain a classroom like me and all that. Just you explain to your friend. Otherwise, you call somebody and educate them. Then it is made as an experience. Thereafter, fluently you can explain. So, then only just your answer is yes. Can I explain this concept to others? Your answer is yes, move to the second one. If the answer is no, you know that, then one more time watch. But one thing, one shot you must warn. One shot means not one time. You may watch it 2, 3 times, but you should, until you own that, don't move to the next concept. By that, n number of benefits are there. Third one is subject oriented communication skills. Many people talk about general communication skills in English. Okay, that is important, no doubt about that. But subject oriented communication skills are very core for your profession, because you are very good at English, you have a lot of fluency and all. But if you don't have subject, what is the use of that? Suppose a wonderful pipeline is there, but there is no water in the tank. What is the use? That's why water is very important. Subject oriented. Subject oriented stuff should be in your brain. That means by owning concepts. Then subject oriented communication skills are very useful to get a career or a job. Because whenever you go for an interview, they ask you subject only, mainly subject. If you have good communication skills, then it is like a fragrance for the gold. Then, then definitely by your presentation, you are being selected. That point you have to understand. One thing, if you have subject-oriented communication skills, not only getting job, you will be evolved as a, you can climb the ladder, you will be evolved as a leader, and you will become a good faculty, and you will become a good trainer, corporate trainer and all that. That's why from the, I feel this is the first concept for you. Of course, whatever may be your background, I don't bother, keep it aside and take it as a first concept, and within months you can complete that, and you will be in a position to explain every concept as if it is your own. Okay. Fourth one, time framed study plan. Everybody is having their own limitations of time. So, because many students, college goers, school goers, college goers, office goers, different professionals, housewives, hobbies, several people study programming. They have their own time limitations. Then, subject to your time availability, you make out a study plan. At least weekly study plan you make out and implement that. And in case of programming, you have to complete it within a short span. You should not take much time period and all that. By that, no effectiveness is there. Effectiveness there. If you want to complete C language, according to me, daily average, if you are able to spend 3 hours, that means weekly 20 hours, just within 2 months you can master. I am not telling you about simple learning for college exam or an interview. Okay, 2 months period is more than enough. That point you have to understand. First, you grasp the spirit of these 4 points and implement hereafter. And by that, I assure you, you will be evaluated as a professional programming professional. No doubt about that.